don't know. I don't think I rarely feel unsafe, I guess. I think Muncie is a pretty chill area, and it is pretty liberal and diverse because of Ball State, so that makes it a lot nicer. I think, honestly, if it wasn't for Ball State, I'd feel a lot more uncomfortable. I don't know that I've ever really thought about how I felt as a woman in Muncie. I think for the most part, being a woman in Muncie is a lot like being a man in Muncie, other than you get yelled at when you're walking down the street, like a lot. But literally any other thing, I think it's pretty standard. I don't know. I get yelled at on the street, and that's about the only differentiation thing I can think of. Sometimes it's more like catcalling, at which point you do feel a lot more uncomfortable. One time, this young man yelled at me and called me gorilla pussy, and to this day, I don't know what that means. I tried to look it up on Urban Dictionary, and there wasn't a good definition. I have no clue what this means. But me individually, especially recently, I don't know that there's really been a distinction that I've felt. For the most part, it's been pretty chill. I'm trying to think if there's like a specific way to narrow this down, but there's not really, and that is just feminism, specifically intersectional feminism. I was involved in Feminists for Action for a while this semester, but pretty much any semester I've ever tried, I do get busy with other things on their weekly meetings. So it's not really been possible for me to attend. But I think just really pushing to say, like, why do you need to prove that you're dominant to me to, like, prove your masculinity to someone else? Like, A, you shouldn't feel emasculated by me walking down the street. B, you shouldn't feel the need to place power of yourself over someone you don't even know. Like, you literally don't know anything about me. There's just so many feelings that I think don't need to be felt. Like, they don't necessarily think I'm going to yell at her because I need to prove my power. But I think that is a driving factor they're not even aware of. So I think really raising that awareness of saying, like, why does it matter? What does it matter? And just fighting for equality, not only for, like, women, but the different intersectionalities of women, because obviously a queer woman faces a lot more injustices in daily life than I do, and society does build structures that just push you down. It's not that there aren't successful, Black women or Latina women, but it's harder for them to make that same bar as I can. Not really. I don't really think so. I don't think feminism is something we talk about enough, and I think when we do, it's very much like, oh, like, da-da-da-da, so they're a feminist, move on. The Daily News covers the slut walk every single year, so like, yeah, it's talked about, but where is it the rest of the time? So it's not something that's generally talked about, it's something that's talked about when it makes a statement.